You are creating your reality, but you are doing so with your consciousness and in summoning energy into form. Your intention is what's getting your attention. Your consciousness and your energy are what are really drawing to you and into your awareness the focus on what you love and what you're excited about. There are many distractions within the human experience, and there's no judgment from our side ever. But so often you allow those things that distract you to get your focus and your attention, which often leads you to feeling frustrated, experiencing resistance, and feeling that you are somehow powerless. Hello and welcome. I'm Sara Landon, and I'm so happy to be here with you for this episode of Journey of the Master podcast. Today, we are talking about focus and intention and allowing yourself to realize your highest excitement in life or create the experience you want to have. Thank you for being here. This is such an important conversation, and I'm so excited to be in the energy of this time with all of you. This truly is an exciting and magical time in our experience, and your life can be everything you wish it to be. You truly can choose the experience that you want to have for you and allow it to be your reality. So we're going to dive into that deeper today. And we have some great questions that have been submitted from our Masters Class community, as well as a channeled message for us from the council. So stay tuned. So I want to begin with letting you know about a few things that are available to you. In March of 2023, we did a free live channeled event called the Year of the Master. The council has been telling us this is not only the journey of the Master and the decade of the Master, but this is the year of the Master. And this free replay of that live event, the Year of the Master, will be available through April 17th, 2023. So if you have not yet registered to receive the free replay, you will find the link in the comments below, and you can still register by April 17th, 2023 to receive the replay of the Year of the Master. Also, we have an incredible intensive experience starting on May 2nd called Embody Your Highest Potential. This is truly one of the things that I think we are being called to do in this time. In fact, I believe it is our greatest calling to live our highest potential and to realize an extraordinary existence. This intensive experience, as I said, will start May 2nd with a kickoff call on April 18th. You can find out more about this in the comments below and register anytime to be part of Embody Your Highest Potential, Creative Mastery for Life and Legacy, an entrepreneurial intensive with me. This is really an opportunity for you to live your greatest calling, your purpose, and your highest potential once and for all. So let's dive into the topic for this month: focus, attention, allowing, and realizing your highest excitement and the dreams in your heart. There's a lot of information out there about how we create our realities, about how we manifest, about how we truly do live the life we want to live, even if in this moment you don't know how that is even possible for you. There's also a lot of questions about, do we get really specific about what we want, or do we allow it to be more general? And then there is the word allowing. We hear this word so often. The council talks about it in almost every message. And yet sometimes we make allowing another job or something else that we're supposed to do. I want to begin with coming into the awareness that when you want to have a particular experience, going beyond the thought that you have to create your environment the way you want it to be, or that you have to manifest something outside of you. You are a powerful creator of your reality. You are creating your reality, but you are doing so with your consciousness and in summoning energy into form. The council tells us that everything has already been created. So, for example, if there's something that you want to have, or an experience you want to have, or something you want to do, first recognize that thing has already been created. You drew it into your experience through your consciousness or awareness of it. And you draw yourself into the realization of it through your consciousness, through your energy, through your focus, through your intention. So let me give you an example of this. You might hear about someone who went on a vacation to a particular place, and they were hiking mountains and sleeping in tents, and it was very high altitude and very cold and very strenuous hiking. And some people might say, oh, wow, I would love to have that experience. I might say, no, that's not for me. And therefore, I'm not really focusing on it. It's not becoming an intention or something I choose to want to experience. Someone else may say, wow, I just got back from this incredible vacation to this beautiful place, and here's all the things we did, and here's what I loved about it. And I had this experience a few years ago about Costa Rica. Someone had shared with me an experience they had in Costa Rica, and I thought, wow, I'd really love to go to Costa Rica sometime. And I just kept focusing on it. I looked up different places, I talked to people who had been there, and then all of a sudden, through that focus, through that consciousness and awareness, drawing that experience into a potential reality, I had the opportunity to travel there with my family last year, and it was an incredible experience. My reason for giving you this example is to just be aware. We don't always focus on the same things. We don't all want to intentionally create the same situation, but whatever lights up for you is lighting up for you for a reason. So what you focus on, and another way of saying that is what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, what you love, what lights up for you, what excites you in a way that you can imagine that that is an experience you'd really like to have, that's focus. Focus is not push, force, effort. I have to make this happen. I have to figure out how to struggle really hard for years and years to make this happen. Focus simply on what lights up for you, what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, what you love, what you're curious about, what you might enjoy. Allow that to be what focus means for you. And the word intentional, being intentional, sometimes that can be very general, sometimes that can be very specific. Your intention, what you are focused upon, the experience you want to have, your intention is what's getting your attention. And your job is not to figure it out. And you do not realize it through the lack of it. You realize it through the oneness with it. And you begin to understand that your consciousness and your energy are what are really drawing to you and into your awareness the focus on what you love and what you're excited about. So everything's already created. You are drawing to you the experiences that you want to have for you through your focused intention or intentionally choosing the experiences you want to have. And you're focused on them because those are the things that are lighting up for you. So what happens sometimes when people say, well, I really wanted to have that experience and I focused on it. It was my intention, but it still hasn't happened yet. Oftentimes, we begin to look at all the reasons why we think it's not possible. We start to focus on the lack of it in our experience, and that tends to not feel very good. And oftentimes, people stop right there. They don't think they're worthy of it. They can't figure out how to make it happen. And that discomfort of focusing on it, but also in the experience of it not being here now feels so awful that they just give up. And I want to share with you some ways to move through those experiences where you can be in the absolute knowing, without any doubt, that there's a reason that that is lighting up for you. There's a reason you're focused on that. There's a reason you are excited about that. There's a reason you're passionate about that. There was a woman who submitted a question from our master's class community about this, and she said, I really want to move back to Hawaii or live in Hawaii once again. But when I imagine myself there living that life, I feel sadness that it's not happening yet in this dimension of time. What is the best way to close that gap? So first off, what I want to say to you is when you're having the experience of something that you want to realize into your reality, I want to go beyond the thought of manifestation, or even though we know we're creators of our reality, not thinking about it as you have to create that thing. Hawaii already exists. The home already exists. The place already exists. For some reason, it's lighting up for you. There's some reason that you are feeling the energy and the light around that particular place. And so, first off, recognizing that that's not random. It's intentional for you. Your experience has caused you to come to this place of looking at all the potentials and the possibilities for your life and saying, this is the experience I want to have. Or this is the experience I want to have now from this place, who I am now, living in that place I used to live, if that's what's true for you. You're not having to manifest the place. You're not having to create the place. You're aware of it. It's already created. It's already here. Now what you want to do is realize it as your experience. Even the word realize it as your experience. But we don't realize it through the lack of it, or looking at our experience and all the things that are there and going, well, this isn't it, or this isn't happening. We have to come into a place of oneness with it, with our consciousness and with our energy. So first off, when you're feeling this and you are thinking about the experience that you want to have, the council tells us that whatever your highest excitement is, it is your responsibility to allow yourself to have that experience. There's data and information in it for you. There's a puzzle piece there for you. There's something there for you, which is why you are aware or focused on, in this example, wanting to live in Hawaii or go to Hawaii. It is our responsibility to allow ourselves to have those experiences. And what does that mean? When we're in a state of allowing, the council says the instant manifestation of allowing is joy. When you're focused on what you love, when you're doing what brings you joy, when you're passionate, when you're excited, you're focused and you're allowing. When you are in a state of allowing, you will feel joy. You will know that you're in a state of allowing when you feel joyful. That's allowing. So what's the opposite of allowing? Doubting, denying, doubting that you can live there, denying that you have the power or you're worthy, or denying and doubting you have the resources to do that. That's not a powerful point of creation. And it's also not allowing. And it's also beginning to shift your focus on what you don't have, the lack of something, why you can't have something, which then feels really awful, which is what she was explaining in her question. When she starts to see where it's not her experience, sadness comes in. That's because we're in resistance. That's because we're doubting or denying. And we're asked to come back into a place of allowing, feeling joyful, being in our passion, focusing on what we love, and allowing the next step to come and the next step to come. I shared this example recently with our master's class community. Many years ago, there was a woman in our community who wanted to live at the beach. At the time, she lived in the Midwest, and she really wanted to live at the beach. But just like our friend who wants to move to Hawaii, she didn't think that that was possible because the only way she could afford to do that would be to sell the house where she lived and move there full time. And her husband did not want to sell her house or their house and move there full time. And so the next step came of where would you want to go if you had a house on the beach? And she knew exactly where that was. And so the next step was, well, why don't you go rent a house on the beach for a week and see what it's like to be there? And so she had in her mind, she had this inspiration or this vision of what that place looked like. And she ended up looking through all these different rental properties in that place. And she found a place that was exactly like what she had been imagining. And so she went down there and rented it for a week. And she loved it. The person who owned the house was really wonderful. She said, I want to come back. I want to bring my husband. So she brought her husband and they went down for about a month and stayed at the beach house. And he really loved it. And they came to this place. They came to this place where they both really enjoyed being there, but she also realized that she missed her family and her friends when she was away. And now her experience was she wanted to live there 3 months of the year. So they went back to the owner of the beach house and proposed that they rent it 3 months every year. And the homeowner was delighted. And now that's what they do. Her and her husband go 3 months every year to the same beach house, exactly what she imagined in a place that she imagined. And he's happy, she's happy. But that never would have happened if she would have stopped at the point where she wanted something, couldn't figure out a way to have it happen. Not having it was more painful. You can't really let those things go. I truly believe we lose a little part of our soul when we do not allow ourselves to have the experiences we want to have. And so many times that happens because we doubt, we deny, we don't think we're worthy, we can't figure out the way. But all that is asked of us is to show up, see how it feels, follow the energy, and allow it to unfold, and allow ourselves to have the experience we want to have. She allowed herself a week at the beach house to experience what she wanted to experience. If she would have said, well, I can't because I don't own it, or I can't because my husband won't let me, or I can't because I can't sell my house. She allowed herself to have that experience. And then the energy and the light guided the way to the perfect house and the perfect homeowner, where that orchestration of being there 3 months a year was actually even better than what she had originally thought. So back to our friend who has the question about Hawaii. Is the next step for you, because you're so focused on it, because it's such a clear intention for you, are you allowing yourself to have the experience of it? Is the next step maybe going to Hawaii for a period of time, whether it's a week or longer, to see how you feel and see what shows up? I know this has happened many times in my life where I couldn't figure out how something was going to come together. And yet when you take the next step and the next step and really allow yourself to have the experience you want to have, all of a sudden, all sorts of things start coming together. And oftentimes it's beyond what you ever could have figured out for yourself. But focus is really important. Again, focus, what does that mean? You're either focusing on what you don't have, why you can't have it. You're either focused in doubt, or you are in that place of focusing on what you love, what's exciting to you, what you're curious about. And in doing so, your intention becomes more and more clear. The council tells us to play in your imagination and play in it in such a way that you're really fine-tuning that experience that you want to realize or have. You can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, you know exactly what it is. And when it's that clear to you, it becomes your reality. I had a similar thing many years ago. There was a particular place that I wanted to live, and I had wanted to live there for a very long time. And it included living near the beach. And I had that experience. I rented a place for a period of time. I went down there. I loved it. I was over the moon. It was really fun. And a few months into it, I thought, I didn't realize it's so cloudy every day at the beach. Most every day, the clouds didn't taper off until afternoon. I also felt this kind of dampness all the time. There was like this sludgy stuff on my windshield all the time. I also realized that my dogs were always filled with sand all the time, and I was constantly cleaning up after my dogs. And while I was loving the experience, I realized maybe I don't want to live full time at the beach. I also can look back now and see why having that experience was so important, why going there was so important, because it was a piece of the puzzle that led to the next step, I can think of the people that I met during that time that are still an important part of my life. I can think about how going there opened up an opportunity to have another experience at a place nearby, and then that opened up another door. And so it's not always about it being the way you think it should be, or the way we're programmed to believe it has to be. Sometimes show up and let the puzzle piece come together. And it very well may be an experience of moving to Hawaii for a period of time for this person. It may be the energy of being there that shifts something in her. It may be someone she meets or someone she sees. It may be a short-term, it may be a long-term thing, but allow yourself to have the experience of it. And if you are truly sitting in this place that you say, but I can't, but there's no way, I'm telling you, if your soul has inspired within you, has placed into your awareness the desire for a particular experience, the how will unfold in the most amazing and miraculous way. We share these things often in our Master's Class community. And just this week, we had 2 Master's Class members share, one whose uncle, surprisingly out of the blue, gifted him and his family a home. We had someone else share an example where they were struggling to pay some back taxes. And they had a very dear friend that they spent time with often every week. And this person made a lot of donations to animal shelters and things like that. And he wasn't telling her for any other reason, to just share what he was going through in his life. And one day she came in, gave him a check and said, "Here, I want you to have this. I want to know that the money I'm giving is going to something important, and I want to know that it matters to someone I care about." And we share things like this all the time because it's so important to understand that any potential and any possibility exists for you if you will allow it. One of the big things that we're talking about a lot lately is going from doubt to absolute knowing. This is a really important part of the creation process of realizing the experiences you want to have. Absolute knowing. And when you start to even feel into the next manifestation or the next experience you want to create, or the expansion of that into something you haven't even thought of before, that is your proof. That is your proof. And absolute knowing that whatever it is you want to experience is already here for you. Allow it. It will happen as big as you can allow it. Again, what is allowing? Being in that state of joy, being in that state of ease and peace and harmony and love and passion and excitement, focused on that. Again, while we are these incredible human beings, a part of you is also a master. And the grander part of you is consciousness and energy. And the council tells us that grander part of you is the consciousness and the energy that created everything. You are creating your reality, but that doesn't mean you have to create the person, right? So say you want to have a business partner that you create together, that you really enjoy spending time with. I have some friends that really wanted to live with other like-minded people that they really enjoyed. They wanted to cook dinner together at night and they wanted to have fun together, but none of them really wanted to be in a romantic relationship and live with a significant other. So they rented a house together and they're having so much fun. They didn't create the house. They didn't build the house. They didn't form the cells of that little fetus, that little baby. And they weren't the intelligence that created that person. They didn't have to figure out how to grow a human. They didn't have to figure out how to build a house. That's what I mean by everything's already created. We're in this creation process, but you experiencing the deepest desires of your heart are by your consciousness and your energy and your focus and your ability to allow and follow inspiration. This is absolutely about following inspiration, inspired actions. Let the next step come to you. Sometimes we get in this place of that's 100 steps from here, and it seems so overwhelming that you don't even know where to begin. Let the next perfect step come to you. Take that step. Then show up, see how it feels, follow the energy, let the light guide the way. Then let the next perfect step come to you, and the next. And you'll find that some of those steps are quantum leaps forward. Not just a step. They're huge shifts, huge momentum forward, but they came as the next step and the next step and the next step. Continuing to focus on those things you love, those things that excite you. So I got another question here. I am so in my power and feeling my abundance, and yet my partner is struggling to maintain good energy for himself. I love it when he thrives. Am I creating this? And if I am, why would I do that? Good question. So you're in a place of abundance. You're feeling great. You're really living all the wisdom you know, living in higher levels of consciousness and vibration, and experiencing a lot of abundance. And someone close to you isn't. It's not that you're creating it. It's that you're giving attention to it. It's that you're trying to change it, which means you're judging where he is not where he should be. And that's what feels uncomfortable. We all are here on our own journey. It doesn't matter if you're with the love of your life or as a parent or as a child caring for a parent or a loved one. We're all here on our own journey, and we've got to allow each other our journey. There's been different times in each of our own experiences where we were in a great place, not such a great place. And of course, everyone that cares about you wants you to be in a great place. But I can look back at some of those times in my life and say, wow, those were the biggest shifts and transformations that I experienced, and nobody could have changed it for me. I had to change it within myself, or I had to make that shift within myself. So I know you're not judging him particularly, but judging that he's not where he should be versus love him and accept him exactly where he is. And you yourself may even be able to see where he's really abundant. And just you being able to see he's abundant may allow him to move into a consciousness or an awareness of his own abundance. So I hope that was helpful. Another question. I previously heard the council say, by letting go of a concern or judgment allows me to access infinite possibility. How do I, as a ego, they say, let go, stop energetic resistance, and trust in the unknown? Good question. So, concern or judgment, I would say, is doubt. Getting into a place of trust in the unknown, I would say, is absolute knowing. So it goes right along with the topic of what we're discussing here today. Going from doubt to absolute knowing. Doubt is a habit. It's a habit. We learn how to doubt. We are taught to doubt. Even the most well-meaning, loving parent may have inadvertently taught you to doubt. Some of you may even be able to think about or remember being an innocent child. Well, most of us can probably remember believing in the Easter Bunny or believing in Santa Claus. We really believed in that. We really thought it was real. It was, right? And then at some point you learn to doubt the magic because just that person supposedly isn't real. But what if Santa Claus, for example, is a consciousness that is present at a particular time of year that makes magic and miracles possible? But we learned to doubt it because it wasn't a person, not understanding that it was really about a consciousness and an energy that was available for magic and miracles in our life, not just at a particular time of the year, but always. So we learn to doubt. I can think back at a time in my earliest memories where I absolutely believed anything was possible, that anything I wanted to be, I could be. And if you wanted to have an experience of being a doctor or playing house or whatever it was, you could have that experience. And so there's an innocence here. And there's an awareness that doubt is a habit we have of doubting things. It doesn't feel very good. In fact, it feels quite awful to doubt yourself or your power or source or the universe. And so a really good way to look at this is, what is it that you would feel, or what would your experience be if you realized that thing you wanted, or if you were in the experience of what you wanted to have? In fact, this question came up, a great question, in our master's class community recently, where someone was super excited about the life they were creating. They were focused on it. They knew what experiences they wanted to have, and yet they would get stuck in the monotony of their day-to-day life and actually felt sort of hopeless because they started doubting that that was ever going to happen for them. And the question was, what will you feel when you're fully living in that experience that you want to have? And that person said, I would be thriving. I would be thriving. And so in every moment, you're either choosing doubt or you're choosing thriving. Most of us could get to the place of feeling into thriving. And yes, you may go, oh, well, this would have to change in my experience. Continue to focus on your intention, thriving, feeling into that thriving. Love, what you would be excited about, passionate about when you're thriving. And the more you start to do this, the more the doubt dissipates and dissipates and dissipates. I recently had my own experience with this, with something that I wanted to realize, an experience that I wanted to have in my own life, which when I first got the inspiration seemed really big. But I began to realize in my journey to the full realization of that experience that there were all these gifts along the way, that my focus and my intention was drawing a whole lot of other things to me. People, connections, resources, awareness, information, wisdom. And I eventually arrived at this place where I had absolute knowing of the experience already being here and being done and being my reality, before it fully moved into manifested form. I was in the realization of it. I was in the absolute knowing of it. And in that moment, I realized the greatest gift of that entire journey was coming to a place of absolute knowing. And I was still really excited about that thing moving into full realization, but I wouldn't have wanted it one moment sooner if one moment sooner would have meant that I would have missed out on the experience of absolute knowing. When you're in a state of absolute knowing, you have everything. That is oneness consciousness. That is to go beyond the belief of lack and limitation and separation and doubt and struggle and resistance. So allow your own awareness of absolute knowing. Allow yourself to look at those things that you are focused on, that you do have an intention around, and that you want to realize. Again, whatever your highest excitement is, it is your responsibility to allow yourself to realize it, to allow yourself to experience it. And if it has taken a little time, I hear this often. I've really wanted this for a long time. I really have wanted this for a long time. I've really been focused on this. And sometimes the counsel will say, well, you've really wanted it, but you've been focused on the lack of it. You say you really want it, but you've been focused on all the ways that it hasn't come, focused on not having it, doubting it. You really want it to come. You've really wanted it to come for a long time, but you've been focused on your doubt of it. So especially if you've been focused on something, shift your focus to passion, excitement, love, what lights up, what you really enjoy, and take a moment to look at all of the gifts, all that you have become, all that you have expanded into, how you're more loving now, or how you have created more peace in your life, or how you have come to a place of greater self-realization or a more awakened place within yourself on your journey to this thing you want to experience or have or manifest in your life. You are creating your reality, but just remember, right? It's like these beautiful angel wings. I was given them as a gift. I said not too long ago, I really want something really cool to put in that space behind my desk. I really want something new and something really cool. I didn't know what that was. And about a week or two later, my friend gave me these beautiful gold wings. I didn't make the wings. I didn't get the material and put it together. I didn't have to make it, right? But just that awareness, I believe it is our consciousness and our energy that is drawing things into our reality. And sometimes your own consciousness has a perspective far beyond your human. Another question that we had submitted was, I've really wanted something for a while, whether it was health or a relationship or money or their own business, whatever it is. They've been really wanting something for a while. And they were in this place of knowing, they got really excited about it. They were practicing all of that. And all of a sudden, it felt like they sort of crashed. That it felt so frustrating that it wasn't in their experience right now. And I'm going to tell you probably something you're not expecting. When that occurs, it is often a sign that not only is your consciousness and your awareness already in the realization of that thing, your body is already starting to realize it. Your body is already starting to realize it, which is why you may feel that crash or like you've hit the wall. Because not only is your consciousness and your awareness fully able to perceive that as the realization, as your experience, but now your body is starting to even be aware that the realization of it is here. And then your job is to just get excited about it. Get ready for it and get excited about it. So if you ever feel that sort of crash or you've just hit the wall, it's so uncomfortable now that this thing hasn't manifested. Shift your awareness to, that is the sign that even my body is starting to perceive this as my reality. And your job is just to get excited about it and get ready for it, whatever it is. Get excited about it and get ready for it, whatever it is. Examples of that, if you feel so deeply that you want to be in a relationship, or you want to go travel with friends, right? Start thinking about what you would wear, what you wouldn't wear. Maybe there are some things in your closet that it's time to clean out and donate. Maybe it's things in your house. Maybe it's files that you have in your desk. Maybe it's time to clean something out as your way of getting ready and getting excited for the new reality and the new energy that's coming into you. So have some fun with all of this. I'm going to bring the council in now, and they will have their message for us. As a reminder, if you are watching this before April 17th, our free channeled event, The Year of the Master, is still available to you. You can find it in the links below. Also, our newest experience, Embody Your Highest Potential, Creative Mastery for Life and Legacy, in entrepreneurial intensive with me, is starting on May 2nd with a kickoff party on April 18th. So you'll also find the links to that below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our community. Thank you for coming to these podcasts. Feel free to like and share and comment. We always love to hear from you. And with that, I am going to go ahead and bring in the council. If you're brand new to channeling or you're brand new to the council, I'm just going to close my eyes and take a few deep breaths. The council will bring forth their message for us. My eyes are closed the whole time. I'm aware. I know what they're saying. I'm just trying to keep up and really translate the consciousness and the energy that they're bringing through. When they are complete, we will end this podcast. But there's nothing for you to do but just sit back and enjoy and feel for their incredible energy. So here we go. We are so pleased and delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you all on this fine and glorious day indeed. And we remind you that while our words to you are important, this is a vibrational experience of remembering the truth of who you really are and why you are here and all that you intended when you chose this magnificent life experience. Any question you have can be answered with the awareness that you are creator within your own creation of reality. Whatever is happening in the world around you, whatever is distracting you, concerning you, upsetting you, remember, you are creator within your own creation of reality. You are here to Elevate your consciousness and your awareness of all the potentials and the possibilities that exist here for you. And then to summon the energy, which is all your energy, into form as the realization of the reality that you wish to create for you. There are many distractions within the human experience, and there's no judgment from our side ever. But so often you allow those things that distract you to get your focus and your attention, which often leads you to feeling frustrated, experiencing resistance, and feeling that you are somehow powerless and unable to truly create your reality the way you wish it to be. But it is not that at all. The truth is that you are a powerful creator of your reality and everything you wish it to be. But when you get distracted or in resistance, you are not fully allowing yourself into the consciousness and the energy that you are, and the consciousness and the energy that is here for you to create your reality. Which is why this conversation about focus is so important. When you are so incredibly focused on the experience you want to have, when you are so focused on the present moment and being in your power in the moment, and you come into absolute knowing, you will experience the fullness of the realization of the reality that you wish to create for you. Coming into your power in the now moment is so important. All of your power is in the now moment. When you are in the past, when you are focused on the future, when you are trying to figure it out, when you feel bad, when you go into resistance, you are not in your power. All of your power is in the now moment. Come into the moment and fill yourself up with all of you and feel into all of you and all that you are in this moment. Some of you may feel a sense of oneness with everything. Maybe you've never felt that before, but just becoming aware that you can feel into a sense of oneness allows you to more fully come into the moment. As we say, you do not create your reality by perceiving the lack of it. You experience it and realize it by coming into oneness with it. Some part of your consciousness was aware of it long before your human mind moved it into your awareness, or your human mind allowed it into your awareness. It was in your consciousness long before your human mind could allow it into your awareness. But as you begin to allow it into your awareness, you realize it's not your pushing and forcing and efforting that makes it happen. It is your oneness with it, understanding that allowing the consciousness of it into your experience is what allows it to be realized by you. So many times the creative process becomes difficult. You're waiting, you're trying to be patient, you're trying to figure it out. The creation process is meant to be so expansive and beautiful and exciting and blissful, and it can be now and forevermore if you will allow it. The creation process is meant to be that of allowing. Allowing is a joyful, blissful, harmonious experience. It is a feeling within you of total harmony, total oneness, a blissfulness, an excitement, a passion, a feeling of being alive. Creation and the creative process is a feeling of being alive. It's an experience of feeling alive and knowing that you are always expanding and becoming more, and therefore realizing more and more and more into your experience as your reality. Allow the creative process to be fun, to be playful, to be joyful. What are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? What do you love? Allow yourself to feel into that, to focus upon that, and to create more and more and more of that in your life. You are a powerful creator. You are everything you wish to be. You already are. Allow yourself into the now moment. Allow yourself into the expansion of all you have become. Allow yourself to see the gifts and the beauty in the love, in the becoming process. Your dreams are in your heart for a reason. Whatever your highest excitement, allow yourself the experience of it. Allow yourself to realize it. Allow yourself into the absolute knowing that you are the consciousness and the energy that created it all. And so it is. We have enjoyed this conversation with you all so very much. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete. Thank you for being here.